The real unspoken tension between the Black and Latino communities.
Blacks against Latinos, Latinos against blacks. We're supposed to be together.
Or maybe blacks was never meant to look for allies. Just remember who we are.
Together,
yes, us.
we form Voltron.
Right.
And we outnumber everybody else.
Every black person needs to work together because everybody else is working together against us.
It's not, we shouldn't be against each other. We should be against the problem.
So why are many Latinos prejudiced against Afro-Latinos and black people?
Our racial biases, they start back home. They start in our own countries, in our own islands. We just bring it here with us.
We taught ourselves to hate each other. And why we hate each other? Like why we want to hate each other? Why we want to be jealous of each other?
How can the black community and the Latino community, how can we come together, Joe?
We are focusing on ourselves as a group, well, we should be.
Latinos, blacks have this crabs in the barrel mentality. And everybody want to be like, I'm the one. Mm-hmm. Not knowing that you're greater with a team of people winning.
What if the idea of black and brown unity is just another lie we tell ourselves to feel safer in a system that was never built for us? Survival ain't the reason they don't side with us. It's preference.
We are affected as a collective. And because we're desensitized, we separate purposely because we have no empathy for our peer group.
We are not better than anybody. There's no one community that we get to hold ourselves higher than.
Hold on. Before we continue with the rest of this, I want you to lock in for a second and really understand where the tension between Black Americans and Latinos is coming from. What you are about to hear next is not just people talking. This is people talking the quiet part out loud. You felt that shift, right? The moment he said, we've got these crabs in barrel mentality. That wasn't random. That was the turning point. That is where the conversation stopped being surface level and started getting uncomfortable. And that is the part a lot of people usually skip. Because at this point, everybody likes to say we are supposed to be together. We are all oppressed. We need unity. It sounds good. It feels good, right? But when you really sit down and ask yourself, why doesn't it feel like unity in real life? That is when things start getting real. Why are people in these next clips are saying that they were warned about America before even stepping foot there? Why are others saying, don't bring a black partner home? At the same time, why are the Black Americans sitting there asking, where was all of this unity energy when we were catching it? That right there, that is the gap. And the next part you are about to watch lives inside that gap. This is where both sides start exposing things that are usually behind closed doors. If you really want to understand why this tension is here, don't just watch this part. Listen, take some notes. This video is for educational purposes. Let's get into it.
It is impossible for us to come together with black people because we are inherently and culturally racist. Our culture is very anti-black. Meanwhile, we out here marching with signs that say brown and black unity. The truth is that in our household, we tell our sisters, we tell our daughters not to date y'all, to stay away from y'all. And if we find out one of our aunties, one of our sisters, one of our daughters had a kid with one of you, we shame them. We even disown them. Is that we, as a people that have been anti-black for a couple of 100 years since colonialism, we can't possibly try to convince black people about brown and black unity. We can't. It's impossible.
Mexican men hate the fact that you sleep with a Mexican woman or their sister.
White people do too.
No, they'll find accepted at some point. Mexicans hate men. Mexicans don't like us, homie. Asians don't like us. A Mexican be your friend all day long till his sister start liking you or his girl start liking you. I've been the ego pass down by Mexico. They are not loving toward us. Go to prison. Mexicans hate.
They do in prison. I keep
man, you go to jail. Go see. Mexicans hate us. They just want to be us.
Like they'll side with the white.
Yeah, over us. Yeah.
White people will rock with you before Hispanic will.
Yeah.
But Hispanic, they love the culture though. They love the.
But they hate the color.
But when I first came to this country, literally the people that I was warned against or warned from was black people from the get-go. Before I even learned to speak English, I was told to be careful with black people. Don't hang around them. They'll beat you up. They'll do this. They'll steal from you. All of the negative things that you could attach to a people. That's the first thing they told me when I came to this country is be careful with black people. It wasn't be careful with white folks. It wasn't be careful with the Asians. Nobody. Just be careful with the black people.
Yeah, they don't Mexican, brown and black don't ride together against white.
That's crazy.
White and brown ride against black. So go to California and see how Mexicans really feel. Them real Mexicans. Yeah, these Texas Mexicans ain't real. Ese vaso, no, they Mexican. But leave outside of Texas and you'll see how Puerto Ricans feel, Cuba, they don't rock with us.
Sure.
A white person is more likely to speak to you and embrace you out in public or outside of your normal environment before Mexican or
Even
Asian.
Africans and like Nigerians say crazy shit about African Americans.
Yeah, nobody rock with us but white Americans, huh?
But what is it about us though that makes us the most hated?
We're disrespectful. We're arrogant.
Loud.
We have an ethnocentric ideology, belief, as if we're better than everybody because we think we were the first.
We think we're old.
Yeah. We're entitled.
Yeah.
We're lazy.
If it wasn't for black culture, black people, black communities, black leaders, black artists, black music, all of it, we would have an entirely different experience in the United States.
In prisons, they don't roll with us. On the job sites, they don't hire us. In their homes, they don't want us dating their daughters. And in the courtroom, they often vote for policies against us. But my people want to cling to the few who march like it erases the ones who mock. And before you say that's not all of them, ask one of your Mexican partners what Mejora la Raza means.
The whole goal of Mejora la Raza is to whiten the race, to extract all the blackness from me, right? Anything that's not Euro features is primitive. So where do you as a black or Afro-Latino fall into that? You don't.
It means to improve the race. But improve it how? By whitening it. By erasing blackness. Go on and sit with that for a minute. They dance to our music, they talk like us, they move into our neighborhoods, and we let them. Then they gatekeep jobs, culture, and even respect. And we let them. This ain't about racism, man. It's about rivalry. Because nobody imitates what they pity. They imitate what they envy. And deep down, they know what we got can't be copied. So maybe it ain't hate. Maybe it's hidden competition. Maybe it ain't ignorance. Maybe it's inherited bias.
Jay-Z said, if we fall, we be each other's crutches. Meaning, people think they want to be the one instead of having all your friends win. And when we need something or somebody, they can actually help us. If you the only guy winning, nobody can help you if you go through something. Right.
The whole Latino culture is white-centered. So where do any blackness fall in under that, right? Even if you consider Afro-Latino, you really don't fall into that.
I always feel like I'm never Latina enough because of my skin color, because of my hair.
I would just hear my family be like, oh, don't go out with somebody that's dark-skinned, que no salga con un negro. Arregla la raza.
Dark skin in the Latino community isn't considered beautiful.
We've been colonized so poorly that we want to identify with being white so much, not all of us, but many of us, that we look down on dark skin.
So, I mean, we're not surprised, right? I just is deeply rooted into centuries of ideology, right? You have people browner than black people, black Americans thinking that they're white. Like, it's wild out here, right? And, I just bring that up because how we view them and how they view themselves is totally through two totally different lenses. They see themselves as white, even the brown ones.
I remember when I was a kid, I looked at myself in the mirror. Yo dije, esta nariz, estos labios que tengo yo, I'm ugly. ¿Sabes que llora? Porque yo pensé.
I hate being black. And I'm not being for real about this, but I'm going to be talking about colorism in the Hispanic community. So as a lot of you guys know, and you can see, I'm freaking Puerto Rican, but I'm black. I know that's crazy. My grandma, she's black and she is literally from Puerto Rico, so don't question me on nothing. But for me personally, it's always been a bad thing that I'm black. I get told not to go outside too much because they don't want me to get any blacker. A lot of my friends, most of my friends are Hispanic, but they're not black Hispanic, they're not Afro-Latino. A lot of the times, the butt of the joke is me being black. Like 90% of the time, the butt of the joke is just me being black. Like, I get it, I'm black. As well as getting into relationships with Hispanic men. It's always just like, oh, like, I like you, but you're just not my type. You're too black for me. You're too black for me, honestly. Or like, people just question my identity all the time, and they're just like, you sure you're Puerto Rican? Speak Spanish right now if you're Puerto Rican. You sure you're Puerto Rican? And it's annoying, honestly.
African American are the least desirable to date in the whole US, okay? A lot of people won't make a video about this because they feel like they're gonna get a lot of hate and they're afraid to hurt people's feelings. But I'm here to tell you I don't care about your feelings. I care about the truth and being honest. That's it, okay?
We have been anti-black all by ourselves. Latinos have been colorists all by themselves. Latinos have been racist all by themselves, way before they come to America, way before they ever have contact with Black Americans. You know what the difference is? Normalized forms of racism, colorism, and anti-blackness. What's normal amongst people in our culture, what's hush-hush, what's swept under the rug or not dealt with or just accepted, doesn't fly with Black Americans. And you just don't like the fact that a Black American will call you out on it. Because it's not normal. And it shouldn't be accepted. And it shouldn't be okay. When you have people in your own community letting you know that they've been hurt or traumatized or discriminated by people in our own community, family members even, you need to listen.
Black people in America, their ancestors fought for the rights that we all get to fucking enjoy right now. So many Latinos act like white folks just decided to give Latinos rights, just decided to let Latinos vote, just decided to put laws in place so that you could buy property. If it wasn't for Black leaders, Latinos wouldn't even be able to bring their kids to a public school. We have a lot of the privileges that we have today because of the Civil Rights Act, because of the Fair Housing Act, because of Voting Rights Act. If you are Latino, you better recognize the gift that we were just handed from Black people.
Family used to have very hateful ways in speaking about Black people as I was growing up, right? And as a child, I didn't see, that this was right or wrong. I just saw, okay, this is kind of how my family speaks when they're speaking about, this race or whatever. So as I started getting older, I started realizing like this ain't right. It got to the point that it made me so uncomfortable that I wouldn't even allow my Black friends to come to my house because I never knew what my family would say at that point, right? But as I got older, again, I'm the first person to bring a Black woman into the household and say, hey, this is who I'm with. I had to start checking things as they're being said. Mm-hmm. I'm at a party. I don't want to be at a family party worrying about what my family's going to say out of line, out of pocket. And now I have to stand up for not only, the woman that I'm with at the time, but my kids. Like you're not about to disrespect any of them in saying what you're saying at this point. What? There's an issue of Hispanics being what I would call whitewashed, thinking that they're not as bad as Black people. Mm-hmm. They're on the same level as white people. But in reality, certain white people will look at both, everybody sitting here on this panel today and be like, I don't like any of you, right?
So why don't Latinos like Black people? I'ma tell you. It's because of our stupid ass Spanish ancestors and their white supremacist bullshit. Now when the Spaniards came to the Americas to, colonize, they brought with them something known as casta, a caste system. Here's a historical painting showing the caste system and where people were put into their places. If this is confusing, this will make it a little easier. Now the top of the casta was the Spaniards, people who actually came from Spain. And the people who usually came from Spain to the Americas were very wealthy aristocrats. Next in the food chain were their descendants, the Creoles. Now they were still Spaniards, but they were lower on the food chain because they were born in the Americas. Because again, white supremacist bullshit. Next in the food chain we have mestizos. These are people descended from Spaniards and Native Americans. And then we have mulattos, descended from Spaniards and Africans. Now at the bottom of the food chain were Native Americans and African slaves. Now this social structure, these social classes were instituted for centuries in Latin America. But here's where the problem lies. Humans like to fuck each other, whether willingly and with consent or sadly by rape. That means they have babies together. So this social structure doesn't really work when you have a lot of mixed babies. Because basically everyone became mestizo and mulatto together. Everyone just mixed. So what happens when everyone is mixed? Basically this middle section disappeared and colorism seeped into our cultures very deeply. So Latinos who were more light-skinned were seen as being higher in the social structure because they were more like Spaniards. And dark-skinned Afro-Latinos were seen to be lower in the social structure because they were more like Africans. Because most Latinos are this middle section, like me, mestizo.
Argentina, late 1700s, Buenos Aires.
Black men and women make up nearly 1/3 of the entire population. Then the government decides Argentina must become white. They call it blanqueamiento, whitening the nation. They send thousands of black men to the front lines of every war. They use them as cannon fodder. Thousands die. The men are wiped out. The women are left behind. 1871. Yellow fever epidemic hits Buenos Aires. The government lets it ravage the poor black neighborhoods. They do nothing. Thousands more black people die in the slums while the rich watch. While the black population is being erased, the government opens the floodgates to Europe. Millions of Italians, Spaniards, Germans pour in. They pay their passage, give them land, give them jobs. They say it is to improve the race. Black identity is deliberately flooded out. Intermarriage is pushed. Black faces disappear from history books. By the early 1900s, the census stops counting them. Today, Argentina proudly calls itself the Paris of South America. Almost no black faces on the streets. Almost no black faces in the media. They didn't just disappear. The government erased them on purpose. Argentina became white by design.
Melanated people of Latin America is in the most deepest, sunkest place ever. They literally think they're descendants of the conquistadors. What happened? You couldn't put your dark-skinned grandmother in the closet? Yeah, that's what they call it. When you're racially absorbed, when they absorb you culturally, it's called putting your black grandmother in the closet because they didn't breed it the blackness out. They didn't breed it the melanation out. It was successful. But in this case, it didn't work for these people. So they're outcasts of their society. And they represent millions of other melanated people in Latin America. Because when it don't work, they outcast you. And then they turn around and tell you, hey, we're all one. This word, we're all one. And mind you, Latino is not a nationality. This is an identity that's colonized, coded. Yeah, this applies to the people who colonized Latin America, the Americas, not the people that was already there, or the people is black and brown unity. You're culturally anti-black. You still adopted the ideology of the elitists, of the conquistadors. So how could you unite with something that you're totally against? It just doesn't make sense, like oil and water. But yeah, talk about people that's in a deep, sunken place. Look no further than the melanated people in Latin America.
This anti-blackness is something we picked up from our oppressors. We have a lot more in common with black people than you might imagine. We too were victims of European colonization. Spaniards came over here and they oppressed us, they enslaved us, they stripped us of our culture, our religion, our languages. Who does that sound like to you? What do you think the encomiendo system was? What do you think encomenderos were? Those were slave owners. It was a slave system. We were property. The only difference is that the Spanish crown got to decide how we were inherited, traded, relocated. That's it. We were still proper to be passed around and abused. We were property. Who does that sound like to you? The Bracero program, funneling in Mexicans into America so that they could work for slave wages in fields. And here we are, 60 years later, and they're still working in fields for slave wages. Who does that sound like to you? Segregation in the South, whites only schools, bathrooms, restaurants, toilets, water fountains, that applied to us. We weren't welcome in those spaces.
Why doesn't the Hispanic or the Latin community have the same type of smoke and the same type of energy for the people who colonize and destabilize them? But they have all the smoke in the world for black and melanated people. And although a lot of us may know the answer to this, this is a conversation that needs to be had and questions that need to be asked. And just to be clear, I'm aware that black is not the correct term to use to describe us. We are the Aborigines, the original inhabitants of the Americas, but just for the sake of this video. And honestly speaking, this doesn't just apply to Hispanic and Latinos. This applies to every immigrant demographic. Because if we're being blatantly honest, all the people that have come to America for a better quality of life would have never had that opportunity had we not put up the fight, had we not stood up to colonialism and oppression. And so for these same people to turn their backs on us and then label us and run smear campaigns and regurgitate the same narratives that the systems gave them, it says a lot about this unity that y'all always want to bring up anytime something isn't benefiting you.
Because they enjoy benefiting off of it more than they enjoy unifying with us, they contribute to the hatred of us. We share the same struggle, but we don't share the same societal narrative or skin colors.
And before y'all try to get up here and play dumb and gaslight and talk about, oh, he's trying to spread division, he's trying to spread hatred, he doesn't want unity. First of all, there was never unity, because when we were on the front lines going through the shit we were going through, y'all sat back idly and watched because it didn't apply to you. And not only that, y'all continue to try to assimilate to the very system that is responsible for most of the world's oppression. Y'all try to assimilate in that instead of joining with us to fight the good fight. But then the second y'all find yourselves in these same situations where y'all are backed into the corner by the same system that had already oppressed you, now we're supposed to jump to your aid and jump to your defense because now it's black and brown unity. But where is that unity when we're going through it? Where is that unity when y'all are in y'all's homes, engineering y'all's kids, in y'all's families to treat us and to look at us certain ways? And the funniest part is everything negative they have to say about us was given to them by the same system that actively oppresses everybody outside of one specific demographic. They regurgitate these same narratives as if these things haven't been engineered, all while cosplaying us, acting like us, but then turning around and calling us savages. But the people who were savages to them, they don't see them that way. They see us that way. But once again, they're going to try to take what I say out of context. They're going to try to misconstrue what I say and essentially gaslight and pretend like they don't know what I'm talking about. And like I said, this isn't just Hispanics and Latinos. This can apply to any demographic that has migrated to the United States. As newsflash, people, the shit going on in the world is nothing new. It's always been going on. It's just that black people were at the brunt of what was going on. And it didn't apply to everyone directly how it is today, so y'all didn't give a fuck. But now that it's happening to you, now it's unity. Now it's let's come together. It's like, well, hold on, what?
Colonizing ancestors taught this to us centuries ago, and it's so ingrained into our culture that it's hard to unlearn it. But we need to start putting in the work and start unlearning this white supremacist bullshit.
You gotta realize that we are both oppressed communities. We're both going through the same shit. When Big Pun made the record, Boricua, more than we came out the gate letting everybody know the black and brown unity.
Normalized anti-blackness is not a value. Normalized colorism is not a value. Sweeping things under the rug and not talking about them, that's not a cultural value. Yet it's something that you seek to covet and put above black Americans.
We need to come together. We're going to need each other. What they do to one community, they will do to the other community. What they'll do to the other community, they'll do to that other community. So, brothers and sisters, black and brown unity, we need it now more than ever.
We as a community, blacks and Latinos, have to learn to embrace each other, and love each other more. And so, that's where I'm at with it. That's where Khaled is at with it. That's where we all at with it, where we embrace each other, we love each other, and we uplift everybody, and we try to help as much people as we can come from slavery. If we learn how to stand up for each other the same way, we'll be the most powerful voice and force in America. And so the politicians and all them will have to listen to us and treat us different. And that's the main thing that people got to really realize. It ain't.
They've been coming for us. They haven't stopped. We've always been on the radar. We've always been on the menu. Y'all are now just catching up to the reality of the situation and now trying to project it. This is why we're the first ones that y'all call on and put the bat signal in the sky for anytime y'all face similar themes. Because y'all know we done been through this shit and we know how to put up a good fight. See, unity is just not only at your convenience whenever you're going through something. Unity is also standing by your comrades whenever the oppression isn't happening to you. You don't get to sit back idly and hate us behind closed doors and ignore our oppression and then bring up black and brown unity or unity in general anytime you're now backed into the corner and you need that same empathy and grace. Shit don't work like that. There'll never be unity if things continue to go that way.
It is the Hispanics and the other group who adopt the ideology of the white supremacists, of white people and what the white people believe. It's always been everybody else, never black people. Black people are only responding to the hate that is directed towards them. Black people are always playing defense. We're always on the defensive mode. Now, it is our responsibility to start playing offense. But see, offense requires us to have do some sacrificing. We can't always be partying and sitting around self-hating on each other because it's so easy and convenient for black people, now I'm talking about black people, to be so self-hating and always focusing on each other and not focusing on other people outside the group. Now, we do have a lot of traitors, a lot of people who are black, but they don't identify as being black. That is always used against us. Those are the people who we have to watch the most. The people who don't want to be black, but they just happen to be born black. We have to watch them because they are pretending like they are for us, but they're not for us. So we got a lot on our plate. It's not about black people and what we need to be doing differently.
The root cause of all of the issues we have across all of our communities is white supremacy. Recognize how white supremacy has operated in your own life and how it has afforded you white privilege as a white presenting Latino and given you a life experience that more black presenting Latinos cannot identify with. And stop propagating the lie and the myth that we don't care about race and there's no racism amongst us, because if that were the case, we would not be having this discussion.
I love my people. I hope y'all safe out there, and I hope you get home safe. And y'all have a good day.
Brothers and sisters, there is something that is going on between Black Americans and Latinos in the US. You have heard it in those clips. It was said straight up. Blacks against Latinos, Latinos against Blacks. And they are supposed to be together. That short statement alone tells you that people feel this tension, even while talking about unity. The way I see it is like one part came trying to build the bridge, while the other part came carrying the mindset that was shaped somewhere else. So when they meet, it is not just two groups. It is two different ways of seeing identity, value, and even each other. And some of the things said in the video explain a lot. One person said it clearly. Our racial biases started back home. We just bring it here with us. Another Latino man said, before I even learned how to speak English, I was told to be careful with Black Americans. I want you to think about that. So when Black Americans react strongly to what they experience, it's not random, because from their side, they've had to build themselves up, learn to embrace who they are, stand on their identity no matter what. Then they meet people who were already told to stay away from them before they even have their first real interaction. That is going to create distance. In those clips, there are some statements that also went too far. Statements like Latinos don't like us, Mexicans hate us, they always side with white people. That is a broad brush, because the reality is more complex. There are millions of Afro-Latinos who are both dark-skinned and Latinos. Entire Latin American countries have large population of melanated people of African descent. So it's not accurate to say that everybody thinks the same. But here is where it gets real. Just because it's not everyone does not mean that there is no problem. You have heard that Afro-Latina lady who said, I get told I am too black. I am not Latina enough because of my skin and my hair. Another one said, she was part of the joke because she's too black. There is not theory. There is not somebody just saying. There is someone's real life experience. So now we have two things happening at the same time. Some Black Americans overgeneralizing Latinos, saying that all Latinos want to be white. And then you've got these Afro-Latinos sharing their own real pain. And the mixture of those two things does not take away that tension. It will grow it. Another moment in those clips that really hit hard is when that Latino man said, Black Americans Americans and Latinos are like crabs in barrel mentality. Everybody want to be the one. That right there is something that people don't talk about enough. Most of the times when these two communities are in the same space, instead of lifting each other, it turns into competition. It turns into who gets ahead, who gets recognized, who outperform the other, who is more liked by the boss than the other, who gets more opportunity. And when that mindset take over, people start pulling each other down instead of pushing forward together. So now it's not just about the outside pressure. It is about what happens when these two communities are in the same environment. And that makes unity even harder. There is a statement that was mentioned by one Black American brother in that video. What if Black and brown unity is another lie that we tell ourselves? That line that he brought up, it came from the experience he had, because a lot of Black Americans feels like unity is only brought up at certain times. When one group is going through something, that is the time they will start saying, let's come together, let's unite, let's work together. So that question, where was that energy when we were passing through our own problems, is not coming from nowhere. It comes from watching patterns. They also said it is not survival, it is preference. And there is a truth in that. But it is deeper than just choice, because those preferences did not just appear. They were shaped over time through what people were taught, what they saw, what was normalized around them. So again, it goes back to the mindset. I don't know whether you remember the statement that was brought up by one Black American brother where he said, nobody imitate what they pity, they imitate what they envy. Because we are always seeing Latinos appreciating Black culture, their music, their styles, they're using their slang, but they cannot fully embrace Black people themselves. Now, when you put all of this together, it starts to make sense why unity feels difficult. There is a trust gap. When someone grows up hearing negative things about you, that does not disappear overnight. And when those ideas shows up in real life, in relationships, in social circles, it leaves a mark. There is also a difference in how identity is approached. Black Americans have had to build pride under pressure that create a sense of awareness. So anything that feels like disrespect gets picked up quickly. On the other side, some people are still unlearning ideas about color, status, and value. So now you have one side that is very clear about identity and another side that is still trying to figure it out. That creates friction. Then add crabs in the barrel effect on the top of that. People pulling each other down. People wanting to be the one instead of building together. And it becomes even harder to move forward together. Brothers and sisters, unity is not just when it benefits you. Because when people keep seeing it appearing in certain moments, they will start questioning it. So the real issue here is not the idea of unity itself. The issue is trying to build unity without addressing what is actually causing division. Because if nobody talks about the bias, if nobody acknowledges the mindset, if nobody checks what is being passed down, so if anything is going to move forward, we have to start this conversation with honesty. Latinos saying this exists in our community. Black Americans saying this is what we have experienced. People being able to say this exists in our community. This is what we have experienced. This is what we need to change. And they show this through actions, not just words. But the message to my Black American brothers and sisters, whether with unity or not, you are enough. But what I can tell Latinos is that they've got to understand that Black community is self-sufficient, whether they are united with Latinos or not. Black Americans don't need unity to stand strong. They have already proven it. You're seeing how their culture is dominating the world, seeing how their music is trending all over the world. So unity is not something that they depend on. They will only choose it if it is real and genuine. But being honest, unity is better. We've got to first of all remove all of those issues that are causing division. So I want y'all to tell me what you think about this video. Do you think that Black and brown unity is possible or is not possible? I want us to have a honest conversation down there in the comment section. If you have enjoyed watching this one, click on the like button, and peace and love to all of you. If you are proud to be a Black American, I want you to write down there in the comment section, I am proud to be a Black American, or you drop a fist emoji. That is the best way to support me. Your African brother reporting here from Africa. See you next time. Peace and love.